Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This lesson will be all about adding the functionality to the obstacle. First off, we need to select all of the obstacles, and they need colliders, so go ahead and click Add Component, Physics 2D, and the only collider that will kind of work for this shape is the Polygon Collider 2D. We also want to make every of these colliders a trigger, so go ahead and check the isTrigger option to enable. After that, we'll need to create a script, so right click on our scripts folder, go to Create, C# script. And we can name this script Player Collision. Open it up in Visual Studio. This is a script that will be attached to our player game object, and it will check for every collision that our player makes. That means it will not only be usable for the colliders, but also for collecting points and changing colors later on. Since we want to check for collision, we won't be using these two methods, but instead we'll be using the onTriggerEnter2D method. First off, whenever our player object collides into something, we want to check whether that object is the obstacle. We do that using an if statement. So if collision.tag equals to obstacle, then we want to execute the code between these two brackets. Just to make space for future editing, let's write a few more comments. If the object that our player has collided with is not the obstacle, maybe it is the point. So let's write a comment here that will indicate where to write our code later on. And maybe one more. For now, we will only be building this part of the code. Whenever our player game object collides with an obstacle, we want to check which obstacle that is, since we have 4 different obstacles named after their color. And now you can kinda see why we changed the name of our player game object to represent its color as well, because it's much easier to check whether the names match than to check whether the colors match. If our player game object is red, it won't be called player anymore, it will be called red instead. And the obstacles are called after their color as well. So if the name of the obstacle and the name of the player matches, we won't do anything, but if it doesn't match, we want to load the game over scene. To check whether it doesn't match, let's write another if statement inside of this if statement. We have already determined that the object is an obstacle, and then we want to check if collision.name is not equal to the name of the player, this being the name of the obstacle and this being the name of the player. This simply means it's not equal. Then we want to execute this code between these brackets, and to change the scene we need to implement the scene management. To do that, type using Unity engine.scene management. And now we can use the scene manager. Scene manager.load scene, and the name of the scene is game over scene, if I remember correctly. Make sure you save this, and also don't forget to add it to the player object. Let's see if it works. Yep. If we pass through the yellow with the yellow object, it should be fine, but if we touch any other color, it should take us to the game over scene, which is empty right now, so that's why it's all blue. That's it for now, and see you in the next lesson.